this point in time, I would like to call up Officer Nick Pascarosa for our military recognition.
Freedom. We consider it to be every American's birthright and the defining attribute of America itself. Ask yourself this: would you fight for it? How far would you go? What would you do to preserve your liberty? And what would you do to defend your neighbor's liberty? History tells us that where freedom exists, there is always a sinister force nearby ready to take it away. Keeping it is hard. When the founders stood up and declared the American colonies independent from Great Britain, King George said, "You want liberty? Prove it. Pick up a weapon." John Hancock and the signers threw down a gauntlet, and King George called us out. 8 hard years later, we were our own nation. Over 241 years, in conflict after conflict, time after time, American commitment to freedom has been tested. The Barbary pirates, fascists in Europe, communists in Asia, and tyrants in the Middle East. We have been called out. America, if you value liberty at home or abroad, prove it. Pick up a weapon. There have certainly been some notable moments where peaceful means have been used to secure the blessings of liberty. Their rarity is why the extraordinary American, Dr. Martin Luther King, has his own holiday. Unfortunately, at too many pivotal moments in history, the defense of freedom has required young Americans to pick up a weapon and go into harm's way. So how far would you go to secure your own freedom, and what would you be willing to do for your neighbor's freedom? A few of your classmates have answered that question and volunteered to pick up a weapon and stand the watch. This choice is not for everyone. In fact, it is really only for the very few. There's an old story about the sheepdog, which serves as inspiration for this part of our ceremony. The story is this: most people in society are sheep. They're kind, gentle, productive creatures who can only hurt one another by accident. Then there are the wolves, and the wolves feed on the sheep without mercy. But then there are the sheepdog. The sheepdog lives to protect the flock and confront the wolf. The sheep generally don't like the sheepdog. He looks a lot like the wolf. He has fangs and the capacity for violence, just like the wolf. The difference is the sheepdog has such a deep love for his fellow citizens that he cannot and will not ever harm the sheep, and is willing to walk into the heart of darkness to protect them. Still, the sheepdog disturbs the sheep. He's a constant reminder that there are wolves in the land. They would prefer that he didn't tell them where to go or what to do, or be seen constantly standing at the ready in his olive drab or blue. The sheep would much rather have the sheepdog cash in his fangs, spray paint himself white, and go, bah, until the wolf shows up. And then the entire flock tries desperately to hide behind one lonely sheepdog. Be without doubt that our sheepdogs tonight have assumed great risk on our behalf. Their families will spend the next set of years in a state of worry, and I hope an overriding sense of pride. Sometime about mid-August, when some of you are wrapping up your summer jobs, take a moment to think about your sheepdogs. The members of the class of 2017 who are spending the rest of their summer at Great Lakes while you are packing for college. And everyone should consider these words from the Trace Adkins song, Semper Fi. I sleep in my bed instead of the foxhole. I never heard my boss tell me to lock and load. Ain't no bullet holes in the side of my SUV, because the kid next door just shipped out overseas. In a well-established DY tradition, no one leaves these halls having volunteered for military service while still in high school, during a time of war or peace, without hearing all of us say in one voice, thank you. So on behalf of the greater DY community, I say it. Thank you. You carry with you our deep respect, everlasting gratitude, and our boundless pride. We tell you these things tonight because we are DY, and that is our tradition. We will present each enlistee with a Blue Star Service banner for their family to fly over their home, a DY Sheepdog Challenge coin, and a plaque which reads, on behalf of a grateful community with pride and respect on your enlistment to the United States Armed Forces, and a quote from General George Patton, "If a man does his best, what else is there?" Would the veterans in the room please stand with me? Ladies and gentlemen, enlisted in the United States Naval Reserve, Burton Stevens. Stay right here for me, will you? Enlisted in the United States Navy, Fred Horgan. The Sheepdogs of the class of 2017. I have one more piece of business for those two young men. You left too soon. Sergeant Murphy, would you come on up? This is my oldest friend in the world, Sergeant First Class Thomas A. Murphy. We grew up in each other's backyards, not very far distance from here. When he found out what we did with the sheepdog presentation, he wanted to jump in and help out and make a donation. We can't call it a scholarship and we can't call it a toolship, so we call it a warriorship. So out of his pocket, he's created the Master Sergeant Robert O. Murphy Warriorship in the name of his dad. To help the family of enlistees travel down to the graduation of basic training. So if you two gentlemen would come back up, you're both recipients. Please leave. That's good. That's good. Congratulations. Thank you. Don't leave. We're going to go outside and take a picture. Thank you very much.